What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And today, as you can tell by the screen and the text on the screen, we're going to be talking about enjoying the process. Now, this is something that hit me really hard today when I was talking to somebody about learning languages. And, I've been learning Spanish and Portuguese, and I've been studying it, and I've been pretty consistent with it. And somebody today I was talking to was saying how they've been struggling being consistent and they've been finding the process of learning a language really boring and hard to come back to on a daily basis, right? To be consistent. And for me, I told them the most important thing uh, in the process is enjoying it. And basically for me, the way I've been consistent with my study and with my learning languages is because I'm enjoying the process every day. And now for me, I think this is the absolute key, not only to learning languages, but to any process and to probably life itself, right? But anything that you want to get better at or anything that you can potentially master, I think this is the absolute key. Now, why is that? Because I think enjoying the process is ultimately what's going to lead you to being consistent. And if you want to be good at anything, if you want to be, at an elite level for anything, you have to be consistent for a long period of time. But if you dread and you hate and you find the process boring, then at some point you are going to have to quit. Or not going to have to, but you'll be burned out and you'll not want to keep returning to it. So how can we find a way that is sustainable where you can, have a consistent practice and eventually get those results that you're looking for because you've been consistent for such a long time. And this is kind of where our current society clashes because right now the sort of mindset that a lot of people are adopting and myself as well, where I'm trying to deprogram myself from this sort of mindset is this optimization and trying to make everything perfect. And what this ultimately does is it takes the joy and the life out of the process. So when you do this, you're not really, enjoying, for one, you're not enjoying the process, right? Which is the whole point. But then the other thing is that you're just putting pressure on yourself and you're just eventually going to make yourself quit and not be consistent with it. And I think this is what happens to a lot of people, right? But when it comes to any process, right, you can find a way to make it enjoyable. For example, if you're learning a language, then, try learning about things in that language that you're interested in, whatever passion or hobby that you're interested in. Or if you have a favorite show or movie, watch that movie or show in that language. And just by doing those small little things, you're going to enjoy learning that language a lot more. And that's going to make you return and go back to it, right? Instead of, getting a book and just studying grammar and just not really enjoying it and using the language, you're obviously eventually going to give that up versus you actually having fun. So I think this is the absolute key. And the reason I'm mentioning it today is because, that's how I've been consistent with my language practice. But with YouTube, I realized that I wasn't approaching YouTube in this way. So this is sort of like a meta video, me talking, making a video while talking about the process of making the video. Whatever is what it is, right? But yeah, basically I wasn't approaching YouTube in this way. I was sort of putting pressure on myself to try to make a perfect video or a better video than the last time. And I sort of have this sort of optimize everything mindset towards YouTube. And I realized when I was telling that person today that to enjoy the process, I'm like, wait, I don't do that for YouTube though, right? I sort of just try to make it perfect, but again, that takes the fun out of it. If I ever dream or if I ever think to be consistent on YouTube, I have to enjoy it. That's what comes first. If I don't enjoy it, then I'm eventually going to stop doing it, right? Especially if it's not like a job or anything. Why would I keep doing it if I don't enjoy it? It makes no sense. And so, if you look at my other videos, most of my videos are just shot with like me on the camera just, with no text in the screen or whatever. But today I found a different way of recording on my computer. I usually record on my phone, but today I found a way to record on my computer on CapCut. And usually, I've been thinking about recording on my computer because I think it would be an easier way to just record and just faster way to upload and just, get it over with. But I haven't found the energy or the motivation to look for that way and to actually do it. But now since I'm having this intention of okay, you know what? Let me enjoy making the video. If I don't enjoy making it, then I'm not gonna do it. So today I sort of came at it with the intention of making this video with joy, and I found a new way of recording on my computer. And I think this goes to the point of I think when you're enjoying the process, and we'll say a creative one at that, you become actually more creative when you're enjoying it. And I think there's a bunch of studies that show this, but you're going to be more engaged. You're going to be more willing to ask questions, more willing to explore, uh, more willing to stay longer with what you're trying to do instead of just giving up. And this not only happened today with this video for me, but I've seen it in a few other processes where that happens to be the case. I also think, for example, people like musicians, right? Where I think for an artist, as a musician, I think their sound is ideally constantly evolving because they themselves are constantly evolving. But if they want to keep learning in the craft of music, they have to be enjoying it, right? And I think the joy is what ultimately gives the artist or the musician curiosity to learn new techniques, to find new styles, to find different genres of music and keep the music fresh. So for me, enjoying the process is the absolute key to consistency and to mastering whatever skill it is you want to master. And I think joy is like an infinite fuel, right? If you dread it and you don't like doing it, then obviously you're not going to have the energy to do it. But as soon as you enjoy it, you'll find energy within yourself to continue doing the process and even through the hardest or most challenging parts of the process. So I just felt like sharing this today because, like I said, a lot of our society is stuck on optimizing things and making things perfect. And even I was making YouTube videos like that, right? And only today is the first time I have this intention of, you know what, let me just enjoy it. I just want to enjoy making a video. And so that's kind of why I feel like sharing it today. And because if you're not doing the optimizing way, then what other way is there? And I think this is it, right? It's enjoying the process. And it's that classic cliche sort of quote where they say it's about the journey, not the destination, right? And I think this has to do with that, right? Because when you're focused on the process, which they normally say to be focused on the process and not the outcome, I think this ties in with it. You have to enjoy the process if you actually want to be focused on it. If you're always focused on the outcome, then it's kind of, doesn't work like that. You won't really be doing the actual work and putting attention in the right places in order to improve in whatever skill you're trying to improve in. And also, one more thing, I want to add something that if you think about anybody who's mastered a skill or has mastered a craft, the one thing that they always have in common is that they enjoy the process. Nobody gets to mastery without enjoying the process. Think about athletes, musicians, scientists, chefs, whatever it is you want to think about, they always enjoy the process. So what does this mean? This means that there is something sustainable and something worthy of enjoying the process. Again, I think it is the key. So anyways, yeah, I just felt like sharing that. I hope you guys took something out of it. I enjoyed making this video for today, so there's that. I love you guys all. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, y'all.